Hello everyone. Don't get too excited. We're not doing the Jason neutral guide just yet. As usual, we're gonna go ahead and play a couple games before we get into it. Jazz, I have not heard anything from Jazz today. So I think we might just be... Oh, he literally just messaged me. Hold on just a second. Yeah. I'll take just a bit. I don't want to start the neutral guide until everyone gets in here. Thankfully, I have our handy dandy notepad right here still. I'll be using this, for most of it. I added a couple things to the notepad as far as like Jason neutral guide stuff that I wanted to talk about. I put in up air and down air, not necessarily because I think they're like neutral tools or anything, but there's stuff that you will be using in neutral to capitalize on certain like habits. So even though they're like less neutral tools, I still, wanted to talk about them. So I put them at the bottom of the notepad just because of, how unimportant I believe they are, at least for neutral specifically. Alright, so yeah, we'll have this fun thing to dive into whenever we actually get to filming. But like I said, I usually try to wait like 20 minutes to make sure anyone who wants to get in here can get in here. I'm waiting on a response from Jazz. Jazz is supposed to be getting on shortly. Can't say if he's getting on or not. I'm sure we'll get something popping up if he gets on. I guess we'll play with some randos for just a little while to, keep something happening on stream, right? I hope everyone who is watching this is having a good day. Anyone watching the VOD, anyone popping into stream chat every now and again. I know my viewer count is it's a little unreliable. Okay. Black Adam's yet again. I was talking about it yesterday, but he's someone I really need to practice against anyway, so this will be good.
Time to punch some buttons.
I also don't really know how to deal with Taz in one specifically. In one specifically, I don't really know what Jason's supposed to do aside from like try to stuff out his approaches, but I feel like Taz's moves have a lot of priority on them, and when, oh yeah, and when Jason's super don't, it's a little hard for Jason to do too much. I like kind of have to run away from him in twos. Wow. He is a brave man trying to challenge me like that. I was really like fishing for like a dodge read, but he like did double jump down air. Interesting. Yeah, this is just random for now. Jazz, I think... oh my god. Jazz just messaged me for the first time today. So I'm kind of seeing if he's like actually going to be available to join us today. Regardless, we're going to have the Jason guide today. So even if Jazz doesn't end up joining us, we're going to have a lot to talk about. I'm probably going to end up spending a long time on that neutral guide just because, like, I know we, like, kind of made a little notepad of all, like, the core points I was going to talk about, and I think even that took, like, an hour. And we were just talking about, like, things I should talk about. So, I think we'll be fine. I need to equip the GG badge, GG more people... just so I can, like, actually do that instead of just disrespecting people. I don't know how you get it. Let me see if I can just put it on. Do I just have it? I don't. It can be obtained in the shop. For how much? Okay, 100, that's not bad. I'll do that. The heart's a pretty good GG as well. But GG's, you know, pretty official. I don't want to accident, and then I have the Shaggy cry for when people are being, you know, obnoxious. Always a funny thing to hit people with. If people are BMing, that's how I BM back. When I inevitably come back and dunk on them. Okay. Oh yeah, I posted about it on Twitter, but required Dexter's Lab play on Townsville. That's an interesting quest to have, to say the very least. Marvin's such a funny character in the game. That's right. I love Marvin. I think he's so awesome. I know every time I've talked about Marvin on this stream, everyone's like, nah, Marvin sucks. Marvin's ass. But, like, I don't know. I think he's super fun in the very least. He's definitely not, like, Bugs level or anything, or Joker level.
Time to punch some buns.
But I think he's pretty good. Very fun. Very funny as well. I love playing Marvin. I don't play him nearly as much as I should.
When in doubt, pull out a big melon. You'll get a kick out of this one.
Aw, man. If I'd used up there instead, I probably would have killed him. Wow, you wanted my ass dead. Aw, man, my up air didn't hit him. It, like, went the opposite way of him. That's so sad. I did the right option, but Jason hurt me. Oh my god, I might be dead again because... Okay, up air's working this time. Dude! Stop! Hey, at the very least, I think I won in that situation because I was already at like pretty high percent. Jesus. Well, what I was going to say is I was at pretty high percent before I even got down there. So I was able to get him into kill percent just for him wanting to mess with me down there. Wow. Oh, no, this is gonna be tough. Okay. Wow. He stopped Sniper Punch with the sticker he put down for his safe. Oh, thank God. I think I was cooked there, actually. His crouch animation was enough for me to accept him into his heart. You can't really hear it too much over the music, but I love his, like, crouch walk sound effect. All of his sound effects are great. They're very Looney Tunes. He's a very good representation of Looney Tunes. I'd argue, like, possibly better than Bugs. Like, Bugs does a lot of wacky stuff, but I don't know. He's kind of... Something about him is missing that, like, classic flair, and I think Marvin has that. Uh-oh. Ah, yeah. I needed to remember to dodge in against Superman. Or, like, not try to dodge away from him like I have been doing, because it's just clearly not working. Like, I'm sure it's like a DI mix-up. It's not as simple as I should always DI in against Superman. Oh, shit. Am I dead? I'm super dead. What? I swear I didn't press anything there. My invincibility went away for no reason. Uh-oh. Jesus. Ah, the eye lasers. I hate double characters.
afraid you've pushed me too far now.
Oh man.
You'll get a kick out of this one.
Oh my god, that sniper punch. Dude, if they hit me with any one of these sniper punches, I'm like so cooked. Oh my god, his dash attack hit so far above him, I was like afraid to try to whip punish with down air. Oh my god.
Nice one, blue guys. Well, Ollie, you want me to fight?
Oh, dude, yeah, that's so whack. I hate double characters so much. I'll finish the set just cause, but I do hate double characters. They are unfortunately banned for a reason. Okay.
Time to punch some fun.
Jazz says that he will jump in after I do my neutral guide. So we're going to be playing with randoms just for like 10 more minutes, and then we'll jump into the neutral guide.
When in doubt, pull out a big melon.
Wow. Wow. My buttons are just ever so slightly not hitting. It's unfortunate, to say the least.
In the head.
Well, Ollie, you want me to fight?
Damn. I hate Superman jab.
Josh, you did pretty hard. My turn.
Yeah.
Ollie, you want
It's so hard to mess with double characters.
Ollie, you want me to fight? Well, Ollie, you want me to fight?
Yeah, I'll probably talk about like double characters a lot more when I eventually make my my cooldowns video, because I think a big reason why double characters are really unbalanced in this game is because of a lot of the design decisions they've had with cooldowns. Like, I get that like he's not really doing anything that's like too cooldown oriented here, but a part of that is just in his base character design that they designed the entirety of the game with. I'll be excited to talk about it when the time comes. Like, double bugs is obviously broken because, you know, a big part of fighting bugs is you're fighting him around safe, right? And whenever safe is not up, that's when you can actually play the game against bugs. The issue is that if there's a second bugs, they can just put it down another safe. And same thing with like any screen control character for that matter. A lot of the counterplay against them is like, okay, they have this really strong option that I have to deal with, but once I deal with that, they're going to be at a disadvantage, like relatively speaking. But as soon as you put a second character in there to like cover for that moment of weakness, that moment of disadvantage, it becomes a little bit more difficult to play around and, you know, counter. Ugh. I'm trying to stay as hydrated as possible. It's super hot in here. I'm hoping my camera doesn't try to overheat again. I don't think it will. The unfortunate part is I'll have to turn off my fan whenever I do the neutral guide recording, so that'll suck. I've seen a lot of Marvins today. I always love to see it. Marvin's a very fun character. I feel like doesn't get enough rep. The only thing I dislike about seeing a lot of Marvin is it's not a fun matchup for Jason at all. So I like seeing it on my team, especially if they're not just like I'm not a fan of the Marvins who prefer to just kind of play him down tilt the character. Because I think there's so much more in his kit that it's like so cool. And he's got a lot of interesting stuff in his kit. And when he just starts doing a lot of down tilt and down air, because it's like it's really strong right now, it kind of takes away from all the cool stuff in his kit that I like. I do wonder if they're gonna like change Marvin too much. I know he's like, in comparison to like some of the other meta, he's definitely not a problem character by any means. So I don't know if they'll feel the need to nerf his stuff like down tilt or anything. I hope they do. Not really for this reason of like I think Marvin's strong. I think I just wanted for the sake of Marvin being a cool character still. Oh. Oh shit. I'm fumbling. Oh my god, I think I'm so dead. Okay, I'm good. Oh yeah, I'm so unbelievably cooked. Hey man, happy belated birthday. Hope you had a good week. I did. Thank you so much. Have you seen the dash forward axe smash tech where Jason slides on the ground? No, I haven't seen that actually. I would like to if you have a link to it. That sounds neat. If you're talking about like IAD Nair, then yes, I've seen that, but I wouldn't. That doesn't sound like what you're talking about. Dash forward axe smash tag. Interesting. If you do Natch until Drew. Okay. I mean, yeah, that sounds. Oh, it's Gamma Razor. He was in chat. Let's go. He was in chat yesterday. Yeah, show me. Because, like, I feel like I do that intuitively with a lot of his, like, moves, not just neutral attack. But I could see how he would probably slide extra far with neutral attack because, you know, he also has the extra momentum from the attack itself. Uh-oh. No, Gamma Racer doesn't know the Velvet Bag tech. He hasn't watched the stream enough. He doesn't know he should just fair there. It's fine. He will learn. If he didn't know that you could bag someone in Steven Bubble, he knows now. Oh my god, I didn't even see that sniper punch. Alright. Wow. I thought I dodged through that guy. Oh, I'm so dead. We might not be winning this one. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's fair. Unfortunate. Now you run those back. We get this. Ah, nah, no run backs. I'll give a toast to Gamma Razor though. I usually just save them all for Jazz. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. GG's, bro. GG's. I'm glad to have seen you again. Like I said, I see you all the time, man. I would join, but I try to wait to do content until 20 minutes after the stream, and after I do my content thing, Jazz is gonna be back on. I was just doing it because Jazz wasn't available. I'd like to play more for sure though. I'll send you a friend request. Let's see. Oh my god, I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, okay, no, you accept my friend request. All right, cool. All right, but now we'll get it right. We'll get it right for sure. I hope you like the bubble bag tech. I love that you can Jason sleeping bag people while they're in like Steven bubble. It's so good. It's so good. All right. But yeah, with that, it is time to start our Jason neutral guide. Let me go ahead and go into training mode before we get started. And because I'm going to need it for a few examples, we're going to change Shaggy to Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's fine. And just for clarity's sake, and so people actually know it's Jason, we'll just use the default skin. The bag's nasty. Yeah, I love it with Bubble. The bubble bag is so good. There's been so many times where me and Jazz will be playing in a bubble. Like, as soon as someone gets bubbled, I am able to, like... I like doing this, the platform bag. You can also up-B people who are in the bubble and reposition them. Or, like, if you time it right, you can do it, and then they'll still be grabbed, even if they were in the bubble when they initially got hit, and they'll get slammed down regardless anyways. And that can lead into some pretty devastating combos and stuff like that. There's a lot you can do. I really do like the Steven Jason team comp. But anyways, we are going to start our content piece now. All right. Now, I have it recording. If anything needs to be edited out, I'm sure my editor will do a great job. Let me go ahead and swap it over to this. All right, hey guys, do you want to play Jason Voorhees in Multiverses? He's a pretty slow guy. He does a lot of damage. He hurts for sure. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over how you play him in neutral and how you get that first hit, because he does a ton of damage. Like, you play this character so you can get the big hit and you can do a shit ton of damage, right? You want to hit the stuff like jab, up tilt, up air, up B, and, you know, get the dodge read, kill them immediately. That's the reason why most people are playing Jason, right? And that's really important whenever you talk about his neutral. A lot of people are scared to get hit by Jason because of his insane combo game, because he's so crazy strong, and, like, one read could easily lead to, like, an insane combo that could easily lead to you losing your stock. Obviously, the bot's not DIing or anything, so we're not going to, like, take that into consideration. But realistically speaking, with just one or two reads or one or two interactions, Jason has a tendency of just completely blowing you up and taking your stock. And a lot of people have to play around that. And how do people play around that? They try to take advantage of the fact that Jason, he's a slow guy. He is not fast at all. The way he moves, even in the air, you can see that he is sluggish here. I'll swap to, like, I'll swap to someone who's, like, considered, like, on the faster end. Someone like Shaggy, just for comparison. So I can have the footage for comparison. But, like, you can see that, like, alright, maybe Shaggy's not as fast as I thought he was. Definitely not beta Shaggy. But you can see that, you know, in comparison at least Shaggy's, like, run animation's a lot faster. Especially when we start to get into, like, the dodge jump territory. He gets a lot faster. Okay. So, we know that people want to run from Jason, and they have the ability to because Jason's so slow. And you would think that would just leave Jason up to just getting whiff punished. People would just swing on him all the time, and wait for him to press first and then punish him for it. All that unfortunate stuff for our boy Jason. But here's the thing. in order for people to take advantage of his lack of speed, they kind of have to run away from him and try to make sure that they stay out of his range. Because as soon as you get into Jason's range, he has a lot of moves that are able to just like outbox people. Like this move itself, ton of range. This move, ton of range, right? There's a lot of like little intricate things that like makes it so that for the most part, Jason has tools to scrap with pretty much any character. He has an answer for almost every situation up close. He has ways of catching dodge that are very good. He has ways of beating out buttons pretty reliably. And he, you know, overall, he's just got a lot of range to help compensate and just help him win in these up close interactions. Not to mention armor, of course. So we're going to go step by step, and we're going to talk about all the different options that Jason likes to utilize. Actually, first, I'd like to mention that people are going to run away from Jason, and they're going to wait for him to swing because his buttons are pretty slow, and they have a lot of whiff on them, so people are going to try to like wait for him to swing first and then whiff punish him. That's just going to be the nature of the beast, how people function against Jason, or any heavy character for that matter. They're going to wait for him to swing, wait for him to do something stupid, and then they're going to try to run him down. But here's the thing. If you're a good Jason... Here, let me set her to... If you're a good Jason, then eventually people are going to put themselves into this situation against you, where they're running away from you so much that they end up putting themselves into the corner where they have nowhere left to run from you. And when they have nowhere left to run from you, that's when you start using your insane buttons to start beating them out. Like, you have pretty good priority, a lot of range on a lot of things, and you kind of force people to play the game with you. You force them into mix-ups. And even if they're like not necessarily putting themselves into the corner, if they give you any real estate and they're not trying to fight with you, you have the ability to charge up. You have the ability to like gain more options at your disposal that now Wonder Woman not only has to deal with Jason's like insane buttons, she also has to deal with the fact that I have armor, and like, when am I going to use that? So we're going to go one step at a time. We're going to go one step at a time and talk about all the little things that Jason has that makes him pretty strong in neutral, and how he likes to deal with people trying to fight him, how he ends up beating out other people's buttons. The first thing I'd like to mention is this move, his fair. His fair is very, very good because it has probably the most amount of range, and he's able to change his position quite reliably with it. He can do an empty hop and then fade back. He can do an empty hop, fade forward. He can dash jump forward and then fade back. He could just do full send forward, and that covers a ton of stage. Like that's half the stage covered right there, just with me doing dash jump fair. Overall, this move is like pretty safe to throw out because it has like probably the least amount of lag in comparison to like a lot of his other moves. So this move in general is just something that you want to be kind of throwing out just to kind of control space. One big thing that I'd like to mention is, while it is the safest and most reliable way for him to control space in front of him without him having to worry about getting whip punished too much. Let me set her back to recovery. God, there's so many. All right. But as you can see, this is like his safest option, his lowest lag option. Like, chances are if you're getting hit with something, it's not the craziest thing the opponent has to dish out. Just because people would have to make a pretty hard read on like your positioning, where you'd be at, and like when you're actually going to swing, or if I'm going to double jump down air instead to try to like bait you into like running into me or dodging in or something like that. There's a lot of like layers to this move, and overall this is going to be the safest thing in your toolkit. However, you may notice that she gets hit pretty far away, and this is on no DI. So imagine if she's DIing away or something. You're not really going to get any sort of combos out of this, except maybe like lower percents. You can try to do fair into fair, but even there, she was able to dodge. If she just let the dodge play out, she would have dodged it and punished me for it. So like his fair, he's not really getting a whole lot off of it, but what he is getting is stage positioning, whenever I hit Wonder Woman with this move, I'm not necessarily aiming to kill her with it. I'm aiming to put her in a bad position so that I can look for kills. You know what I mean? I'm not really trying to... Like, it can be a good move to just straight up kill with, but for the most part, if I hit someone with this, they're not going to be... You're not going to be minus on hit. You're just going to be able to kind of like follow up and prevent your opponent from like swinging back, pretty much. They're forced into a defensive position where they have to do something defensive, or and for the most part, they're just going to have to give up that stage and let Jason kind of work his magic in the corner. And that's where Jason works best. Jason works best whenever he's got a bunch of stage and his opponent has very little to work with to like run away from him and maneuver around. Because the less stage that his opponent has to maneuver around, the more they have to deal with Jason's like pretty strong buttons. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to talk about with it? No, that's about it. It's a big hitbox. It's not very laggy. It's pretty safe, and it gives you a lot of stage real estate when you hit it. Pretty much. Very good move. Very good move. If I do want to say one thing about the move, it's that be careful when you're fighting people like Wonder Woman or other characters with like disjoints. Wonder Woman's the main one that's coming to mind right now, but Black Adam's a very strong one as well. Bugs Bunny has disjoints as well, surprisingly. Like there's moves that Bugs Bunny has that like outrange and outprioritize Jason Fair. But basically what I'm trying to get at here is that Jason's Fair, isn't actually a disjoint. All that hitbox that you can see, that you would think is just his machete, is also hurtbox. That can be hit. So if Jason's trying to scrap with someone, like Wonder Woman, and trying to space his fairs, kind of like right in Wonder Woman's range, most of the time, if Wonder Woman just kind of like fades back slightly and uses her fair that's actually disjointed, it'll beat out Jason's. So like this move can be a little difficult to use in certain matchups where people have a disjoint and have more range than Jason, for sure. So I just wanted to make that clear as well. Let's see. The other thing I really wanted to talk... The other move I really wanted to talk about is his Nair. Now, this move right here is also another one of his moves that aren't very laggy, and it's like really hard for people to whiff punish. Very low commitment overall. But the issue is it does not have as much range as Fair. Like it has more range than you would expect, for sure. But you know, Fair's always gonna hit here, and Nair's not really going to. So a lot of people just like stuffing it out in comparison to Fair, where not a lot of characters can stuff this out. But it's a lot longer lasting than Fair. Fair is kind of a quick swipe that kind of controls the zone in front of you, but Nair kind of like covers below you and to your sides for a lot longer. You can do stuff like instant air dash Nair like that. And it'll kind of cover a lot of like area both behind you and in front of you as well. I don't really like doing instant air dash Nair because you kind of lose a lot of momentum. You can kind of see that, like, you know, he slows down quite a bit before the attack even comes out. Like, he's like sliding forward for quite a while before the attack even... Oh, I guess I can't instant air dash when I'm burned out. I didn't even know that. Whoops. But yeah, you'll see that he like slides forward for quite a while before the hitbox even comes out. And if you're like trying to go towards someone, that can be a bit of a problem because people will just stuff you out because it's not as fast as Nair. But at the same time, it also combos better than Nair. Or it combos better than Fair. So, like I said, I don't like doing instant air dash. I like doing dodge jump Nair because that combos really, really well, and it covers like... Because Nair doesn't just cover to your sides, it covers below you quite well, so I don't really get a lot of use out of instant air dash Nair all too much. But like I said, what I do like to do is dodge jump Nair, and that can combo into Fair, that can combo into like... At lower percents, it can combo into jab. That wasn't lower percents. But like it can combo into like jab. It's overall pretty low commitment. But the biggest issue is that you can get stuffed out for it. So you kind of want to use this interchangeably with Fair. Fair's kind of like to prevent people from wanting to like box with you. And people will try to like dodge through your Fair a lot more. And once they start dodging through your fair, that's when you start hitting them with like, you know, nair, and then that'll combo into like fair or like I said, jab at low percents. So there's a lot you can do there. Nair, very good move for very specific options, right? And those options are pretty much controlling the space where he is. So if you're afraid of like someone trying to dodge into you too much, or if they're like trying to jump over you or something, or like trying to like just do like a dodge jump aerial, it covers that air, that kind of zone pretty well if you know people are like dodge jumping a lot. So very good move for controlling space. But like I said, the downside is that it doesn't have as much range as fair, and it's not as fast for sure. But at the same time, you get combos off of it, and it catches dodges a lot better. So, you know, Nair definitely has his upsides for sure. The next thing I want to talk about is jab. And this isn't necessarily a strictly Jason thing, but jab is his fastest option, 100%. He doesn't have any move that's like faster than this. That can be rough for Jason because it can make a lot of things unpunishable. Stuff that he'd want to punish is just really difficult to. But for the most part, you're going to be using this to whiff punish people, or if someone's like throwing out a lot of attacks, you can dodge through and do jab. But the bigger reason you want to use jab is because it leads into all of Jason's best combos, all of his like best BMBs. So jab is not only his fastest option, it's also his most reliable to like get the party going. It's like his party starter for the most part. It's not really committal, especially if you're just doing jab 1. If you do jab 2, it's quite a bit laggier, and especially if you do jab 3, it's quite a bit laggy. Like I'm holding left just so you can see like the first frame I'd be able to move. It's very laggy if you do all of them, but if you're just kind of throwing out one jab and like reacting when you hit someone, it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. And like I said, it gives him all his best combos for sure. It also combos into grounded up special, which we're not going to cover it too much. We're not going to cover it too much now because this is the neutral guy, but just know the fact that it combos into this move is very good. This next thing that I'm going to tell you guys is a little bit more cliche and not really something that you're going to be using a whole lot. But once someone's gotten to like 80 or so, his jab 1 starts becoming a very useful combo tool. So the more percent someone has, the more percent someone has, the more hit stun they're in, obviously. But once someone gets up to like 80-ish, jab 1 starts comboing into down air. Jab 1 starts comboing into bag. But the reason why, and like this sounds, if you don't know too much about Jason, this sounds broken, right? That was a real kill confirm. But the issue is that Jason kill confirms off of pretty much anything at 80. And even if he doesn't, like, for example, another really important move that jab combos into is jab, jab, smoke, right? And that didn't kill because it's Wonder Woman and she's very, very heavy. But against a majority of the cast, that's going to kill, and that's going to be your go-to, right? There's going to be niche situations where jab 1 down air is going to be your preferred way to like close stocks. But it's also DI dependent as well. There's a lot of like little factors that make jab 1 down air pretty inconsistent. But it is something to keep in mind. You can do jab 1 down air, jab 1 down air and then jump down B. But as you can already see, this is on a bot who's like not even DIing. It's like not reliable at all. Like as you can probably see, not great. Just because of how unreliable it is. What I would much prefer and much more recommend people do is just jab, jab, smoke. And even if it doesn't kill, you're put in a really good position where you can start your edge guards, where Jason is like very strong. Like Jason has some nasty, nasty edge guards. I don't know if you guys know. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. But yeah, Another thing I need to talk about jab, and we're not going to cover this for too long because this is going to be more so in the advantage state part, but jab also has another like downside of jab is that it's spacing dependent. Like if I hit jab here and people are like actually DIing, up tilt's not going to hit here. So on DI out, you'll have to settle for jab down tilt, which, you know, has its usages. Jab down tilt also combos into up special as well, which can lead into some pretty crazy stuff as well. All that good stuff for sure. But yeah, the big thing I wanted to say is that a lot of like jab gives the best combos asterisk because a lot of them are indeed spacing dependent. Like jab up tilt is ideally what you always want because it'll kill confirm, it'll combo, it'll I hate that. I hate that his up air doesn't work, but it's fine. That's not for this video. But yeah, jab up tilt is what you're looking for most of the time, and it's your B&B, it's your party starter. So having it on like his fastest move and the way he like whiff punishes things, it's great. So the way that you want to use jab for the most part is you're trying to like anticipate that they're going to throw out a button, dodge through, then cancel the dodge with jab, and then you start your party pretty much. But yeah, that's a big part of his neutral, just knowing that this is going to be your whiff punish button. You don't really ever want to do the grab. I'll do the grab if I'm not confident the down tilt will hit, but aside from that, like at this percent, I would just do side B, and then like if I hit her and I'm too far away from her, I just do down tilt into imagination. Down tilt doesn't like true combo in anything, but like it puts you in a situation where they can't really press an aggressive button. They have to like try to dodge, and then you can like start reading like dodges with like charged up tilt, and then get some crazy stuff that way. Very good, very strong. This is your fastest button. You want to use it to whiff punish. That's the TLDR. Also, probably your best combo tool as well. All right. So, the next neutral tool that I really want to talk about is his up special. Now, we talked about jab, we talked about fair, we talked about nair. All of them are really low commitment, not really laggy. You're not going to get punished too hard for just throwing these out for the most part. It's very difficult for people to get a clean punish on you when you're just doing stuff like this, like fade back fair or nair or jab or like dodge jab. It's really difficult for people to get like a solid punish on you without a hard read. However, oh god, I forgot to turn off the fan. I hope I don't have to reset this whole thing. I'm just gonna run with it. Hopefully I'll be able to fix it in post and cut out all the background noise. All right. Okay, ignoring that. Yeah. Fair, nair, and jab are all very low commitment. It's really difficult for people to get a solid like it's really difficult for people to get a solid punish on you if you're just throwing out fair, nair, and jab. They're very low commitment, and they even give some pretty good reward as well. However, they all lack one crucial feature, and that's that they all get blown up by I can't even get her to down special. No! Okay. Imagine that Wonder Woman is armored here. All of these buttons lose to armor. Fair loses to armor, nair loses to armor, and jab loses to armor. You will always get armored through, and people will blow you up. They also, while fair does have good range, it doesn't really give you a whole lot, like I said. But there is a move that you could use that has good range and sets up for pretty good combos and kill confirms. And that would be up special. The downside, it's very laggy on miss. Like I'm holding left to try to like walk out as soon as I possibly can. And this is the fastest he can walk out. People can react to him missing this and just blow him up. However, like I said, it has a lot of range. That entire area in front of him is like a no-go zone. And like I said, it beats armor. Or rather, his grounded up special will also blow through armor. It's pretty good. There's pretty much no button in the game that should, in theory, be able to beat this one out. It has a ton of range. It goes through armor. The only downside is that it has a lot of lag. So because of that, people are going to be really prone to either try to dodge through your up special or try to outrange it or stay out of its range and then whiff punish you for it. That's what they're going to be doing. However, if... Oh my god, I messed up. If they have found themselves in this position, all of a sudden, they no longer can run away. They can no longer try to avoid the up special just by outranging it. Because as soon as you're here, they have to dodge through or they're getting hit. Pretty much, up special will, in theory, beat pretty much any other button in terms of range possible. So it is very, very good in the corner. Because in order for someone to actually be able to deal with it, they're pretty much forced to dodge. And if they get hit by it, they get set up into like a really devastating advantage state. This is a great tool just for outranging buttons, beating armor, and just it kind of controls the pace of the game. The only issue is that you can't really afford to do it as much out here because it's a lot riskier. You can't really do it at center stage because people have a lot more wiggle room to just like change up the timing of when they're going to go in and when they're not going to go in. But if they're in the corner and they have to deal with Jason, all of a sudden they're at the mercy of Jason. They can't just afford to not go in or try to wait for him to do something. They have to pick an option because if they don't, they're going to get hit with this and he's going to start running over them. So they have to pick an option. And what option are they going to pick? They will probably either pick dodge in, which Jason has a lot of great options for handling dodge in. If he thinks that they're going to dodge in, he can do this. He can just fair in plays. He can nair. We've already been over this. He has a lot of options for handling people in the corner. And the pressure of him in the corner starts with this move. The threat of that move and not wanting to get hit by it. All right. Let's see. I think I touched on this a little bit before, but it also does set up into kills. If people don't do anything or they DI away, they give up a lot of like screen control. Like here, if they DI away, you know, they're DIing away off stage, and then that sets up for pretty good edge guard situations. Whoops, I did not mean to do the third jab. But yeah, if they DI away on your up special here, it puts them in like a really dangerous spot for edge guards and stuff like that. So they can't really afford to do that. And if they DI in, then you can get like fair as a true combo. You can get like dodge reads on the up tilt. You get a lot of great stuff. Dodge reads with jab too, if you're not really feeling like you want to commit too much after the up special. So great button, and it's a lot of what like kind of ties Jason together. It's what fixes his kit for the most part. This move right here, very strong. Highly recommend doing it. You need to be like semi spamming this move, especially against characters like Wonder Woman or other characters that like to abuse armor for the most part. Very good move. And another reason why it's good is because a lot of characters, let's just take Wonder Woman for example. Wonder Woman's is a character who likes to armor herself and then run in for the most part. That's her game plan. That's her go-to. It lets her be safe, and it lets her buttons run over you even more than they already would. However, this move will swat her out of the air. And it will prevent her from doing that. And in combination with his rage, which we will get into in a second, Wonder Woman cannot afford to do stuff like fair anymore. She has to go for her armor breaking move, which is noticeably shorter range. A lot of characters' armor breaking moves are noticeably shorter range, with the exception of Jason's. So because of that, it's pretty good at answering people who want to try to break your rage armor, because they're going to try to run in, they're going to try to use their armor breaking move, and then you're just going to hit them with this, and they're going to be like, what? And then you edge guard them, and you kill them. Very funny.
Time for grace is over.
All right.
Now is for revenge.
Moving on, though, we're finally going to get to it. I'm going to explain how his rage works. So basically, when Jason uses his neutral special, here, I'll reset real fast. All right, imagine the 30 isn't there. When Jason uses his neutral special, he gets gray health, 20 gray health on full charge. However, he takes 15% damage. The upside to this, and why you would want to use this, is that Jason not only gets an empowered attack whenever he has his buff on. For example, if I just do regular up tilt, it does 21 damage. But if I do rage up tilt, it does 21 damage. But if I do non-rage, it does 9. So it's quite a significant power boost. It's also a strong kill power boost as well. Like, she was only at 9 and she almost died there, so pretty good. So not only does it do that, it also prevents him from taking knockback. Here, I can actually set her to do this one. So long as the opponent does not do over the amount of gray health that he has, so that only did 13 damage. So long as it doesn't do over the amount of gray health that Jason has, he won't take knockback, as you can see. However, if an attack would do more than the amount of gray health it has, he will still take the knockback. So that's a very, very important thing to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind, and I can't really showcase it here, but another thing to keep in mind is that it also gets beaten by pretty much every armor breaking move as well. I don't think there's any character with a neutral attack or neutral special that breaks armor, but if someone does an armor breaking move, it'll also blow through the armor as well, and it'll get rid of his gray health. Does neutral special after the stem start combos in any way? I never see him to use it. See use in it. I haven't labbed it as much as I would like, but I don't think it adds hit stun. I think it just adds knockback. And you know, usually for the most part, added knockback is not great for combos. Like, you can maybe like do that or something at 0 where you ordinarily couldn't. But for the most part, no, I don't think this, like, I'm pretty sure it does not add hit stun, it just adds knockback. Okay, but another thing that's really important to keep track of whenever he has his, hold on, editor, you'll need to put this at the beginning. Jason can choose to either tap his rage, and then it'll give him 10 gray health, and it'll deal 8 damage, or he can hold it for a maximum of 20 gray health and 15 damage taken. Okay, now I can go on. Let's see. What else was I going to say about this move? Oh, you mean hitting neutral special after using it? Oh, no. No, this sucks. This sucks. I'm telling you now. We'll get into that. I have a whole notepad about that move sucking. Or a whole note on that move sucking. Let's see. Oh, yes. Another important thing to realize is that on whiff, Jason will lose his gray health, and he will just be left with the damage he has taken. This can be really, really rough for Jason. And it makes it so that once you do this rage, you have to be very, very careful about the move that you end up choosing to use. If you're in a last stock situation, you want to, in theory, or in a last hit situation, you want to try to hit people with like charged up tilt, because this will kill very, very early. But also, this can cover a lot of stage, and you know, you can catch people's jump with this. Rage up air is very good too. You just want to be very careful with the move that you use, with the exception of side special. Side special does not use your rage. I'm guessing it's because they didn't want his recovery tool to use up his buff, but it does not use it. I do not think it empowers his side special by any means, But if someone's just running around and not dodging or anything, they're just like sitting on top of you waiting for you to like throw something out and try so they can try to like react to it and avoid it. You can start throwing out side specials and it'll really catch people off guard and even close stocks, because this is one of Jason's better kill moves. It'll keep people on their toes and it will force them to dodge, because in reality, the ideal thing you're looking for is you want someone to try to dodge in so that you can get like a rage up tilt bed or something like that. That's the ideal way of doing it. Let's see. Another very important thing to take note of, though, is that his neutral special is a core way of dealing with a lot of options. Jason will not take knockbacks. Jason will not take knockback so long as he has the gray health, meaning that he can actually armor through a lot of multi-hits as well. So, for example, Joker side special. If Joker's doing his aerial side special on you, you will armor through pretty much all of it, unless he has the armor killing perk, and we'll get into that. Or Harley dash attack. He'll armor all of that. A lot of multi-hit moves, a lot of jabs that don't do a lot of damage. It's very good for keeping people pretty honest. And if people give you too much space, ideally you just want to pop this. You want to make sure that you're able to have it up just so you can shut down a lot of the safer options and force them to go for more of the risky things like armor breaks or moves that like do a bunch of damage. Usually moves that do a bunch of damage also have the downside of... Usually moves that do a lot of damage also have the downside of being pretty laggy. So you can play around that. A big part of Jason's neutral is when you have this, you are playing around what your opponent is trying to do to beat your armor. Because you are limiting the options that they have in order to deal with Jason by a significant margin as soon as you have this up. All of a sudden, as soon as you have rage, as soon as you have range, your opponent is no longer allowed to play their game and run over Jason. They have to play Jason's game. And that's a very, very core part of his neutral and a very big part of how he deals with things. A lot of characters that have ways of dealing with Jason's armor very reliably, like Marvin, Finn, other characters, Jake's Fair, stuff like that, or no, not Jake's Fair, but like stuff like Marvin, stuff like Finn, characters like Wonder Woman, Finn, Marvin, all those guys who have ways of reliably breaking armor just off of relatively safe moves will have a tendency to run over Jason because he's not allowed to control the pace of the game with his rage nearly as much as he would like. And that's a big part of it. Let's see. But yes, the greatest thing about this is that it will shut down a lot of people's core game plans. Joker cannot do aerial side special into me. Harley cannot do dash attack. She cannot do fair. Pretty much every character in the game cannot just fish for jabs, because I know that's a lot of what the ones meta is. Jab, jab, dodge, jab, jab, until someone gets lucky and gets a hit. They can't do that against Jason. If they try to do that against Jason, he'll just armor through it and hit them. So it's very, very good. Jake's Fair is another great one because unless he takes the armor breaking perk, you can just kind of like walk through it for the most part. He's got a lot of Jason has a lot of matchups that he can just shut down their natural game plan just by him doing his armor move and running them down and forcing them to play Jason's game. And the great thing about Jason is that he only needs 1 or 2 instances of you having to play Jason's game to absolutely destroy a stock. So very good move. It comes with quite a drastic downside, as you can see. Just by me pressing it a few times, I've already taken like 75 damage, and that's way, way more than you would ever want to. But yeah, overall, this is going to be a great way of dealing with a lot of oppressive neutral options with Jason, just having this in his toolkit. Let's see. Yes. I did touch on that a bit already, but yes, a big part of what makes this rage so good is because a lot of people have like direct answers to armor that they want to throw out. Black Adam's clap, Wonder Woman's nair, Finn's down tilt, Jake has his bite. A lot of stuff like that. People are just going to be like, oh, he is armored, so I'm going to do the thing that beats armor. But you can play around that. If you know that they're only going to be using a select few options, Jason's very good at covering those select few options. The person in my chat said, if Black Adam's going to start just spamming clap because he sees that I have rage, you can start looking for parry. Or you can even just dodge through and whip punish him for it. If you know Wonder Woman's going to be doing her nair, you can start using your up B to outrange her. There's a lot of things that you can do, and there's a lot of things that you can do with Jason's rage, and it overall just makes him very, very controlling of the pace of the match whenever he has rage up. Oh yes, I'll mention this as well. I noticed this too. Actually, no, I won't mention it. I don't know if it'll be fixed by the time it comes out, or if it is a bug or whatever it is. Yeah, I'm not gonna mention that because I can't tell if it's a bug or if it's just how it's supposed to function. But the reason why Jason gets armor is because his passive is that he can't take knockback whenever he has gray health, and it essentially functions like armor. However, if you get gray health from an outside source like Velma or Iron Giant or LeBron, usually they're only giving you like 3-ish or so % of gray health. And as we established before, if someone does an attack that does over the amount of gray health that Jason has, so like, for example, if I hit Wonder Woman with Fair, it does 16. That's a lot. That would definitely blow through Jason's like armor that he would have gotten from any of his allies. So you can't really rely on the gray health that you would get from your allies just because there's not someone who gives enough gray health to their ally to like for Jason to make a lot of use out of it. All right. Let's see. What else did we want to talk about? All right. So these last couple things that I want to talk about, they're not really... These last couple things I want to talk about, they're not really neutral tools, but they're rather ways that you deal with people in neutral if they're using a very specific subset of options. And those options are going to be down air and up air. Now, you're not exactly going to be doing this just willy-nilly and trying to fish for a hit on someone who's, you know, just walking back and forth or anything, right? But there's very specific options that this can be very good for. For example, if someone is just kind of throwing out an attack, let's say, for example, imagine this is a Shaggy doing his Shaggy kick or something, right? You can jump over it, bonk them with down air, and then you can start your combos and stuff like that. In much the same way, if you notice that someone is jumping out of the corner a lot, Jason has a very, very like high range option to catch people who are jumping over you. Like, look how high this like hits people. It's very high up. Like, Jason, even with a double jump, I don't think could get out of that situation. He'd have to like double jump and dodge up in order to at least try to avoid Jason up air just hitting him like this. So it's very, very good for calling out jumps, and in the very same way, this is very good for calling out people running at you with buttons like Shaggy kick, dash attacks. A lot of people like doing instant air dash, like nair or fair or something like that. But overall, like, you just want to use these options not necessarily as like tools to like, you know, pressure your opponent. They're more for call outs than anything. All right. I keep messing up attack's direction coming out of mist. I don't know if you use the C stick or anything. Wait, what? What? Guys, This is gonna sound really, really stupid for someone who's had over 1,200 games of Jason. But I did not know you could control the angle of his mist. I did not know you could, like, mist up and mist down. I thought you could only mist, like, directly to the side. Oh, dash attack beating projectiles. Yeah, that's true. I probably should talk about that. It's kind of niche. Okay. Last move we're going to talk about is dash attack. Dash attack is kind of niche, but they recently gave it a buff to where... yes, yep. They gave dash attack a buff to where it'll actually destroy a lot of projectiles, right? Pretty much anytime the hitbox is out, he can destroy projectiles. And it lets him kind of like bulldoze his way through certain characters who are like trying to like throw out a bunch of projectiles to like keep him out and like run away from him with like relative like low risk. Now, the reason why I say this is pretty niche, not only is because there's not a ton of characters in the game who are going to start using projectiles to box you out in the first place, but there's a lot of projectiles in this game that it doesn't work on that I feel like I would really like it to work on. For example, Morty has grenades that are very, very obnoxious to deal with. And once they like explode, and he can explode them whenever, they can control a lot of screen. However, Jason can't break these. He can only nudge them in a direction, which is very unfortunate because this is one of the characters that like end up controlling a lot of neutral against Jason. It's really difficult for him to get in on him because of this. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one who didn't know that you could do up mist and down mist. Like I said, I played 1,000 games of Jason, and I did not know. How's it work on the ground? Can I do up mist from the ground? I can't. Okay. On the ground, you can't do up or down mist. So I'm not that crazy. It's just in the air you can do up mist or down mist. That's interesting. I had no idea. That should help a lot because like there's a lot of situations, and this isn't going in the video probably. There's a lot of situations where I'll do jab jab and then I'll do side B and I'll be like, ah, dang, they didn't kill. Oh well, I guess that wouldn't work, huh? Because you can't do up mist from the ground. Yeah, but that'll definitely make his recovery a lot less predictable, right? But yes, there's a lot of matchups where the projectile deletion dash attack is very good. Someone in my chat said Marvin, Batman, Tom, and Jerry are very good, which is true. It'll get rid of Tom and Jerry tennis balls. It'll get rid of Batman Batarang. It gets rid of, I believe it gets rid of Striped Saw. But at the same time, there's also a lot of matchups that you can't really use it for, just as a warning. Like, you can't get rid of Bug Safe, you can't get rid of Morty Grenades, you can't get rid of Gizmo Popcorn, you can't get rid of Gizmo Car, you can't get rid of... I think you can't get rid of Tom and Jerry tennis balls after they hit them, but I could be wrong on that. You can't get rid of Joker's Wild Card, which... God knows Joker really needed that. I don't think you can get rid of Rick's Meeseeks. You can't get rid of Steven's Shield, which is very strange to me because there's a lot of characters who have moves that are like dash attacks, like Banana Guard's side special and Shaggy's side special, that can just go through Steven's shield, like completely. They don't even like acknowledge it's there. They don't stop on it or anything. They just side special through it and it gets deleted. But Jason can't do that. So there's a lot of matchups where you would want it to work, but it just doesn't. It's unfortunate. Same thing with like Bugs Rocket, of course. It's too big. A lot of Iron Giant projectiles. Obviously, you can't get rid of Iron Giant like Rage side special, which unfortunate but understandable. But yeah, I figured I'd want to talk about that. But the summary and what I would like to leave you guys on for, I'd like to go ahead and summarize how you are supposed to play Jason in neutral for the most part. Jason is all about finding ways to take the stage from his opponent. He has very good buttons for boxing people out and forcing them to give up the stage so that he can slowly whittle them into the corner where they're forced to play the game with him, where he's able to use a lot of his tools that control a large amount of space and close stocks just for catching people's jumps, catching people's dodges, and overall just overrunning the cast with his oppressively large hitboxes. And a big part of playing the game with Jason is just getting a read on how people want to try to get away from you and picking the move that covers the most options for that situation. You can say that about a lot of characters, but it's especially important with Jason to have your fundamentals in check and make sure you have a good idea of how your opponent is dealing with your pressure. If you're able to utilize a lot of Jason's biggest buttons to control the screen and get his opponents into the corner where they're forced to deal with your large buttons, then Jason will be a perfect fit for you. Wave Dash Fair, you're welcome. Yeah, Wave Dash Fair is pretty good. I don't really like IAD Fair. I prefer dodge jump nair and dodge jump fair, but yeah. That'll wrap it up for the Jason neutral guide. Next week we're going to be working on the Jason advantage and disadvantage state guide, and I hope to see you guys there.